David Coburn, what's your reaction to that decision?
Well, I think it's ridiculous. It may cost more to do it here in the UK, but it's security we need. We're talking about citizenship. We're talking about passports. We need to make sure we don't have a flood of people coming in from abroad. Doing them in France with a foreign company in France or Anglo or Dutch Franco affair is dangerous. I mean, look at the problems we have in Calais. We have mountains of economic migrants. I mean, you never know where these passports are going to go. I think it's a bit like military hardware. It's something we have to do in the UK to make sure that we don't have any problems.
Alison Grieve, what was your reaction?
Well, I did splutter my coffee out, like I'm sure a lot of the population when I read it this morning. But having looked into it a little bit further, the French company does have manufacturing facilities in the UK, so there may well be a high proportion of the passports made here. Also, I think that we shouldn't be distracted by the fact that this is about Europe. We should also look at the fact that when it comes to public procurement, there will continue to be rules around the fact that we have to open up bids to foreign companies, not just in Europe, but even in the US.
And David, it was, the Home Office says, a rigorous open competition for this contract.
Well, it might have been, but the thing is, there are some things that are a bit more important than that. I mean, things like procuring weapons. We had some problems during the Falklands War when the Belgians were not going to be selling us ammunition for the rifles we'd bought from them. There are some things we just simply have to do at home, and this is one of those things. It's a matter of national security, and it's something we need to control here and control rigorously.
Alison, the Home Office was saying that £120 million would be saved over 5 years from this contract for the taxpayer. Is it realistic to expect an equal level of quality with such a cut?
Yeah, I mean, I was really surprised by the figures, actually, and I think perhaps we're asking the wrong question. We should, at this point, be asking why it is that our UK manufacturing facilities are not able to match that price. It cannot be the case that blue ink is £100 million cheaper in France than it is in the UK. So we should be looking at how to optimise our manufacturing facilities over here. We manufacture 100% of our products in Scotland and export 90% to the US. So it's definitely possible to optimise your production processes to be more competitive. And we're going to have to do that upon Brexit anyway.
And from your own experience, 90% of your sales overseas, what's the key to that success?
By focusing on making an innovative product, and again, as I've said, by optimizing our production processes, and we are competitive in the global market. It wouldn't be cheaper for us to manufacture it in China because we focused on that optimization. And in the world where robotics are increasingly used in manufacturing, there really is no excuse for that.
David Coburn, should the UK government buy British no matter the cost?
I think in this case, when it's a matter of national security, the answer to that is yes. It's a similar thing with weapons. Something else that worries me greatly, relying on foreign powers or foreign countries for weapons in time of war. Well, that's not going to be a lot of good, is it? We were relying on France for weapons in 1940. We've been a right pickle. So, something as important as citizenship is and passports. We don't want a flood of people coming in, economic migrants, which is going to cost us even more money. Remember, if there's a problem with this, it's going to cost us even more money if we have a lot of people coming in on our health service. It's going to cost us problems.
How does that necessarily follow, though, that a foreign company is making the passports and that will lead to more migration?
Well, if we don't have security, and perhaps it may be cheaper, but 120 million is not so much if you've got an awful lot of people coming into the country who shouldn't be coming into the country.
Okay.
You've got to pay for the health service. You've got to pay for their accommodation. So this is too serious to leave to other people. It should be in-house.
Okay,
really.
What about the broader idea then of protectionism for the UK industry, not just specifically on passports and weapons, but more broadly, David Coburn?
Well, as you know, I'm a libertarian and a capitalist. I don't really want to see, sort of everything being done by the government or in-house. I like the idea of trade and doing things abroad if we can. But there are certain things that are too important, one of which is security of of passports and security of citizenship.
And Alison, what would be your view on the UK government buying British?
I think that it becomes an important cultural issue that that we should be encouraging people to buy British products. But there's a difference between that and legislation around tariffs. And as a major exporter, I would not like to see some sort of trade war formed. We're agreeing deals with the US. Again, it's not just about Europe. And so we have to be very careful about the kind of language that we use around protectionism. I think that we should be focusing on the positive story of what we can do positively to encourage more manufacturing to take place in Britain and be simply more competitive.
And can Britain, Alison, be that post-Brexit, do you think, British companies?
I mean, currently, I didn't vote for a shiny new blue passport, but given that we're in this situation, we're going to have to focus on being more competitive. And I think there's a fantastic opportunity to do that in Scotland and in the UK.
And finally, on that point, David Coburn, Alison referred to the shiny blue passport, and that's what we keep hearing, a blue passport. My memory is I had a black passport. Where does this blue come from?
Well, it's a bit like Father Ted and the Black Priest socks. You know, it's a special sort of black, you know, even blacker than anything else. I mean, I remember being black as well. Maybe it's false memory syndrome, goodness knows what. But I thought it was black too. But I must agree with Alison on most of that. I mean, you know, we have to be competitive. And I agree with her. We don't want to do everything just, you know, in the UK. That's not what we're about. We're about trade. I mean, that's what we've always been about. I'm a businessman. I've been doing business all over the world for, you know, all my life. So I totally agree with her. But the thing is, it's the security aspect.
Okay.
This is the important part.
David Coburn, Alison Grieve, thank you both for joining us in Scotland Tonight.
Thank
Pleasure.
you.